You're watching a Reality Check exclusive. India now heading into a new phase of its vaccination as it will open it up to the general population. But are we ready for it? Crucial will be India's COVID app known as the CoWIN app, which is where it is assumed that all those who will now get vaccinated in the next phase will be able to enroll themselves. Joining me on the show, we have with us Ram Sevak Sharma. He's the chairman of the CoWIN app, as it were. He's actually the chairman of the Empowered Group on Technology and Data Management to combat the virus and is overseeing this crucial app. Thank you very much indeed, Mr. Sharma, for joining us on NDTV. Now, as I said, it's very good news that from the 1st of next month, we will be widening the pool of vaccinations. Anybody who's over 60 and those over 40 with comorbidities can enroll. But the concern, Mr. Sharma, is that given that our current pace of vaccination is going somewhat slow, and many states are complaining that one of the reasons is a lot of glitches in the CoWIN app, are we really ready for this next big phase of the rollout?
Thank you very much, Srinivasan, for having me on this show. I think first let me clear this whole concept, the whole myth about the software glitches and software not working.
Okay.
It is actually not true. The Honorable Prime Minister launched the program on 16th of January.
Right.
And there were glitches in the beginning and a couple of days, 2-3 days, and thereafter we fixed it. So there are no glitches as of now. Neither relating to scalability nor relating to any bugs in the system.
So once again, so when all
those
these
who
states,
are complaining,
yes, go ahead, sir.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is that there's no glitch as such as of now.
But when we come across all these different states that are facing problems, I have a list of virtually every single state, but I'm not going to read out all. In Delhi, government hospital officials told us that SMSs were not reaching beneficiaries or they were reaching them too late. In Ahmedabad, the municipal corporation told us that they've actually begun vaccinating frontline workers offline without using CoWIN because the portal wasn't allowing them to generate a list. Madhya Pradesh, as you may have heard, there was a health department report that about 1.3 lakh people who are declared vaccinated are identical. In Maharashtra, the state had actually had to suspend the vaccine drive for 2 days because of problems with the CoWIN app. These are just some examples.
Okay. Yeah, these are examples, but if you notice one thing very common in these examples, they are basically data-related examples, Mr. Jain. What I'm saying is that this data was uploaded by the states, and typically what happened was that this data was received in Excel sheets, and maybe some records did not have a correct mobile number. And if you don't have a mobile number, obviously the SMS gateway will not accept these numbers. Similarly, if you upload a duplicate data of duplicate beneficiaries, obviously duplicates will come. Thirdly, if you don't do for example, one complaint was that the system was not allowing second vaccination. Now, obviously, if you did not enter the first vaccination event in the system, the system does not know that the second vaccination is happening. So essentially what was happening is it's a data-related problem. Otherwise,
what you're saying
if it was a software problem, every state would have faced the same problem.
Okay, so what you're saying is
only
that
some states are probleming.
What you're saying is that basically, are you saying in simple terms that the states are to blame? They're not uploading clean data. They're uploading faulty data.
No, nobody is to be blamed. Let me put it this way.
Okay.
Essentially, what happened was when the data of frontline workers and the health workers were collected from the field by various agencies, right? And those agencies collated the data, put it in the Excel sheets, and the data is very large number, about 1 crore and, about 2 crores data. Now, this is actually, the mistakes are about, they do happen. It's not a question of somebody is to be blamed or not to be blamed. So
but you're
we
saying
have
the
changed
problem
the
is
entire
not of the app.
Now, what?
You're saying that it's not the app which is the problem.
Absolutely not.
Okay.
Absolutely not. It is not the app which is the problem. That's what I'm saying.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
why I bring this up is because you said it's only a few states. I actually have a list of complaints from many more states. I didn't read it out. But Tamil Nadu has had issues, Karnataka has issues, Odisha has had issues, Bihar, Assam,
Mr.
Punjab,
Jain,
Jharkhand.
Sure. Well, Mr. Jain, why don't you study the list and the specific complaints, and you will come to the conclusion that it is all related to data.
Right.
It's not related to the software.
Okay, so the software is clean, the data perhaps there are question marks over. But overall though, Mr. Sharma, will you not say that the task is challenging? Because if you look at it in terms of the actual numbers, the absolute numbers for India are high. We've, I think, managed to administer close to over 1 crore doses. But in percentage terms, in terms of percentage of population, we are amongst the lowest. Out of countries that have a high prevalence of the virus, we're amongst the lowest. And as far as our first two phases or first phase is concerned, we've only managed to hit about 40–50% of our target. So we are struggling.
Okay, let me put it this way.
Yeah.
No. I will, let me put it this way. I am not really in charge of the numbers, or not the one who is going to pontificate on the issue as to whether the speed is slow or large.
Right.
That's not my subject. My subject is that I have been put in charge of making that this digital backbone to complete this whole operation is robust and solid. And
Okay.
that is what I have done. So
Okay.
essentially, these questions relating to slow speed and other speed should be asked probably from some other competent people and not me.
Okay, fair enough. But tell me, because you say that the delays and the glitches have nothing to do with your app. Now explain to us, how will this app work in enabling the next phase of vaccination when it comes to the general population? If you're an above 60-year-old or you're an above 45-year-old with comorbidities, how do you actually get vaccinated via this app?
That's an extremely good question, and let me take some time to answer you.
Yes.
What has happened is that now two things have been done. One is that the entire approach in the first part of the vaccination was that we collected the information of the people,
right,
and then we informed them that, you are coming and please come on this center at that, place.
Okay.
That's one part.
Right.
We have changed it from this supply driven to a demand driven.
Okay.
So essentially, people will now say that I want to get myself vaccinated,
right,
and I will choose the center on which I want to get vaccinated, and
right,
that's the approach which we are now adopting, which is more citizen centric and demand driven. That's
okay.
number one.
Okay.
And number two is essentially, let me compare this with the train reservation system. That probably I'll be able to explain it better.
Okay.
You see, when trains are running, the first thing the railways have to do it to publish the timetable.
Yes.
So essentially, all the hospitals who will participate in the vaccination process,
yes,
they will publish the timetable of vaccination and number of people they will vaccinate. They will be able to vaccinate, that is their capacity, in one particular day, right?
Okay.
So basically, and that of course will depend on the number of vaccines available. So
sure,
once the timetable is published, a person, who wants to get himself or herself vaccinated,
right,
he or she will be able to just, register themselves either on the applications, which is like Arogya Setu is one of the applications, maybe web portal of the CoWIN app, and there will be IVRS, there will be, call centers. Through them, they will be able to register themselves, right? And then they will be able to schedule the appointment as to which center they want to go, and they will be shown the list of centers near them, right?
I see. This is
then you make an appointment.
Okay. This is
the architecture.
part.
And then this is the crucial part. And what is also happening, Srinivasan Jainji, is that they will be, now the number of hospitals which are participating at this point in time will be all these government hospitals and health centers and wherever we are having about 12,000 locations.
Yes.
But at the same time, we will also include 12,000 more hospitals which are Ayushman Bharat empaneled hospitals or CGHS hospitals. So the numbers will become 24,000.
Let me just pause for a second there and
Yeah.
get you to explain a little bit more about how you will actually enroll.
Sure.
You're saying one way to enroll is on the Arogya Setu app. That's a little confusing to me right now. How is that? I thought the only way you can enroll is on the CoWIN app.
No, no, let me put it this way.
Okay.
CoWIN app ecosystem, if you can say,
Okay.
it consists of a number of applications at the back end. Okay. One is, I told you, the facility registration and you know, kind of declaring as to what the capacity will be. So timetable publication app, so to say.
Sure.
Right. The other is when you go to the vaccination center, then you kind of then your identity is verified, your eligibility is verified, and then you are vaccinated. That's the second part.
Yeah.
Third part is immediately after vaccination, you are issued a certificate of vaccination. That is the third part, right? The most important part is how do you connect with this system back end?
Exactly.
Is front end applications. These front end applications can be done by many people, including Arogya Setu. So Arogya Setu is putting a kind of extension to their Arogya Setu app, which will have this facility also.
I see.
Right?
So now that is going to be
Similarly,
added. They're going to add this facility to the Arogya
Yes.
Setu app. So if I'm a, let's say I'm a plus 16
Absolutely.
in Delhi or Bombay, I go on to the Arogya Setu app and then I'm able to register myself.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah, absolutely correct. Absolutely
And-
correct. Not only Arogya Setu, that's what I'm saying. There will be multiple multiple inlets. You know, Arogya Setu is one of them. There will be, you can go to the website of the CoWIN app,
Okay.
CoWIN website, which is cowin.gov.in.
Okay.
And there also you can register through the website.
Okay.
Right?
So one is the Arogya Setu app through which you can register and get yourself vaccinated. The second is you can go to the website of the CoWIN app. Anywhere else you can get registered?
And the third, yes, and the third is you can go to the Seva Kendra in the village, which is the common service centers.
Okay.
And we have 250,000 common service centers in 600,000 villages of this country.
Okay.
Which means every village is accessible by a common service centers within a distance of, let's say, 1 kilometer or so.
Yes.
There you can go and you can get yourself registered with the help of the VLE there, village level entrepreneur there.
Okay. Now tell me this, sir, because when will all this be enabled? Because if we are starting this next phase from the 1st of March, we're just less than a week away.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We will enable the front-end apps, which I told you about 3-4 of them, which is the Arogya Setu, the CSC app, the website, all on 1st of March.
All on 1st of March.
So on 1st of March onwards, people will be able to register themselves, get appointment, get vaccinated through this process.
Oh, I see. But if you want to start this rollout from the 1st itself, you don't want to open it up earlier, because won't it take time before you get registered and then you get assigned and all that?
No, certainly not, because basically if you do it on 1st of March, you can see the vacancies on 1st of March itself, or you can see the vacancy on 2nd of March, etc. So I think it will take a little bit of time, 1 or 2 days to scale up.
But it'll be almost
the facility
immediate.
will be available. Let me also tell you.
It'll be almost
No,
immediate,
let
you're
me
saying.
also tell you one.
Yes.
Say it again.
So you're saying it'll be almost immediate. On the 1st, you can register and maybe get vaccinated on the 1st itself.
Sure enough. And then let me also add something for your viewers, is that it is not that everything will be through registration only.
Okay.
Like in a train, you have certain compartments which are reserved and certain compartments which are unreserved, which means that you can walk in. So basically, you can also walk into a center, and if there are vacancies available, you will be able to vaccinate yourself.
Oh, I see.
Essentially, the states will be deciding,
Okay.
as to which percentage of, let's say, a particular center's capacity will be online and which percentage will be offline, which is the,
Okay.
people coming in directly.
Now, just one thing I wanted to ask you, because you said that in this phase, this next phase, people will be able to choose which center they want to go to, perhaps that will enable them to choose which vaccine they want administered. So, these registration portals or interfaces
they will.
Sorry, go ahead.
They will not be choosing as to which vaccine they want to get administered.
But which center?
They will be choosing which date they want to go, what center. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
So,
what center they want to go.
So when you open up this interface, these different interfaces, they will have those options. It will give you like a set of options and then you can choose which one you want.
Yes, they will have all these options. Basically, what will happen is that when you open and then it will show you the centers which are near me, which is centers near you, right? So once you plug in your district and wherever you are, they will be able to show that yes, these are the centers near you, and then you can choose, and then they will also show the vacancies in these centers. So if there is, for a date, if the vacancy is full, then you can, like a timetable, like a railway reservation system where you see which date, which vacancies, how many vacancies are available. So that will be shown.
Mr. Ramsevak Sharma, this sounds wonderful in theory. Okay, don't get me wrong, it sounds great. But will we be able to pull all this off? I'm asking you because it's just a matter of few days before you will be putting out all this data into the public domain. And we have seen that the process has been, it has been slow up until now. There have been issues, but you think you will be able to pull this off?
Well, let me say, Srinivasan, that this is one of the largest, program in the world. It's a population scale program, and we are 1.3 billion people.
Yes.
So obviously the scale of this is going to be unprecedented. There is no doubt about this.
Right.
And therefore, even from a technology standpoint, it is going to be a it has to be a highly scalable system, which should be able to take the load of that. We have tested our systems to take care of such scalability, and I am fairly confident that the system will work.
I ask you this.
Work without glitches.
Let's hope it does. I mean, fingers crossed. But I ask you this because, with the Arogya Setu app already, we know that there have been multiple issues. One of which, as you know, is the question of how many apps do we really need? I mean, you had Arogya Setu. Now you're saying CoWIN is another interface. To access now the CoWIN, you go through Arogya Setu. Is this just adding too many layers or?
Not at all, not at all. Please understand that we are not putting any fresh app. That's what I explained to you.
Right.
The existing Arogya Setu app, which has got 150 million downloads, is available on 150 million smartphones. Will be available, the same app can be used for this. So we are not increasing the number of apps.
Okay. But there is
but let me also,
there is a problem. There is a problem though with the whole smartphone limitation though, is there not? Because I mean there will be many Indians who will not have access to smartphones, who will not be able to download the app.
Yeah, that is also an extremely good question. What will happen, Srinivasan, is that we are not making it compulsory that you can do it from your own smartphone, number one. So you can do it from through a smartphone of a friend or person whom you know. That's number one. Number two, we are saying that on one smartphone, on one appointment, you can make in one mobile phone. You can make 4 appointments, which means that if I have a feature phone, I can use somebody's smartphone to make 4 appointments, and that message will come to my feature phone. You get my point? So and I can make appointments for 4 people, which means my 4 family members will be, and interestingly, all these 4 people can get different appointments also. So suppose wife is working somewhere and she is not able to go to the vaccination center on a Sunday, she can go on Monday, and the husband who is retired can go and go on Sunday.
I understand.
So
I understand what you're saying. It's an interesting idea. It's challenging. You'll have to admit for people to find smartphones which they can share to make an appointment. And how will they get that notification? It's tricky, but
it's not it's not challenging, Srinivasan. Let me also, sort of disabuse that particular conception.
Okay.
It's a very simple thing. Everybody, after all, there are 700 million smartphones in this country. Please understand.
Yes.
There are 1.2 billion mobile connections in this country. This country is not the same country which it was 10 years back. Everybody is, even you are paying a grocer with 20 rupees on Paytm or UPI. We clocked 4 billion UPI transactions in the last month.
Yes.
So actually people are, there are 33 billion Aadhaar authentications which took place. 33 billion. Imagine. So it's not something that we are not used to using technology. Only thing is technology has got to be simple, accessible, inclusive. And that's what we are doing. The challenging part, I certainly agree with you. It's very challenging.
Yeah. I agree that Indians are good and early adapters to technology. But I sometimes feel that putting too much faith in technology in a country like India is a challenge, right? As we've seen with online education, for example, and people trying to learn online is a challenge.
I don't.
Even with Aadhaar, there are multiple instances of people struggling to get their transactions validated, and we hear of that all the time too. So I'm saying we should just be a little careful, that's all. But anyway.
No, I agree with you, and we should put in a mechanism to actually exception management, exception handling. We are, after all, technology is only a tool, technology is only an enabler.
Yeah.
If technology does not work for some reason, we should certainly have exception management. I completely agree with you. We are not robots. We are individuals. We are human beings, and therefore we should use technology with a bit of a discretion. If it is not working, it should be overridden. Why not?
That's all I was saying. But anyway, we're out of time. I really do appreciate your joining us, though. It's been very interesting, and we've learned quite a lot from you about how this next phase is going to work. And let's hope it goes off smoothly. Thank you very much indeed, sir.
Thank you very much, and wish me luck.
I wish you all the luck, Mr. Sharma. All the very best.